name is Paula Vedoveli, and I'm Assistant Professor of International History at the School of International Relations at the Fundação Getúlio Vargas in São Paulo, Brazil. I'm a historian of finance and the economy with a focus on Latin America. So I want to look at Latin American history to explain larger processes such as, for example, how borrowing governments, they developed and they maintained sovereign credibility, how data visualization techniques of data visualization came to be used to communicate knowledge about the economy, which by the way is the subject of the paper I'm presenting here at the BHC, and how macroeconomic indicators were developed and adopted in countries in the global south during the long 20th century. Yes, I am a recipient of the Kaufman Research Fellowship with the project Making Global Numbers, the quantification of economic life in the global south from 1890 to 1990, which I know is a long time period, but it's a period where I believe we can observe different transformations in the way that economic life was conceptualized and measured. And Making It Global Numbers was actually was a project that I developed after I completed my first book project, Brokering Capital, where I analyzed how different regimes of sovereign credit worthiness developed in the 19th century. So one of the main arguments in the book is that during the second half of the 19th century, we see the consolidation of a cosmopolitan regime of credit worthiness based on interpersonal relationships and ties, soft information, private capital, personal judgment. But what interested me was also the displacement of this regime in the early 20th century with the emergence, on the one hand, of investment analysts, on the other, of the first indicators of repayment capacity, which was the national wealth estimates in the early 20th century. So in the case of Making Global Numbers, what I want to do is actually look at how other macroeconomic indicators were adopted in countries like Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and I would love to do a case study on Angola as well to kind of broaden the conception of how we understand these processes. But for me, it's important not to create some sort of genealogy of these macroeconomic indicators. So I want to explore the conflicts, the challenges, and also the alternative projects that were also displaced when we have a larger project of international standardization of these indicators after World War II. So for example, again, the paper that I'm presenting at the BHC this year is an attempt at looking at the alternative measures and measurements of national performance by looking at productive capacity and ways of quantifying production at the national level. I'm presenting this actually today, but I'm coming to this object from the point of view of other questions about data visualization. So I did present something on how data visualization helped make national economies, in the sense of thinking about national economics like Argentina and Brazil as also agricultural economies, by relying on quantitative data alongside descriptive data and visual data. And I'm now working on a paper that is actually examining the idea of balance of payment and how it connects to how we think about countries in categories such as debtor and creditor countries, and what are the implications of this duality for how we think about national economies in the global south. So it's so interesting because every year when I'm here at the BHC, I cannot but remember the first time that I came to the Business History Conference, which was in 2018 in Baltimore. And I cannot describe how it was important for me in terms of the development of my dissertation. I was a grad student, and I found such a welcoming community. I at the time I had the opportunity of reaching out and talking to scholars at different career stages, and even I had conversations with senior scholars who helped me think about my project. So I have made the commitment of attending the Business History Conference whenever I can since 2018. And I think that the business history community, it is this. It is indeed a community, and especially a welcoming community for emerging scholars who can find here the possibility of connection and a very engaging and productive discussion of their work at different stages, very early work, but also like polished work. And I hope to continue to attend the Business History Conference and make more connections and build more bridges.